If you're over 60 and find yourself waking up multiple times a night, taking longer to fall asleep, or just feeling less rested in the morning, you're not imagining it. Sleep does change as we get older. It's not about something being wrong with you. It's a natural shift that happens with age. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. Many people assume that poor sleep is just part of getting older, but the truth is there are small, smart adjustments you can make that actually work, starting right in your bedroom. You don't need a new mattress that costs a fortune or another pill to add to your list. What you do need is a space that supports how your body and mind are functioning today, not how they were 20 years ago. And sometimes that support comes down to light, sound, temperature, and even how your sheets feel against your skin. These aren't luxury upgrades. They are practical, age-aware tweaks backed by both science and lived experience. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 changes, each one simple, budget-friendly, and tailored for older adults that can help you create a bedroom that invites rest, not restlessness. Because while aging might change how we sleep, it doesn't mean good sleep is out of reach. It just means we might need a different approach, one that works with the body we have now, not the one we used to have. Let's get into it. Part 1. Soften the light, soften the mind. Let's start with something most people overlook. Light. It sounds simple, even too basic, but for many older adults, light is the invisible thread pulling them out of sleep or keeping them from falling into it in the first place. You might not realize how much light you're exposed to at night, from the street lamp outside your window to the glow of a digital clock to the tiny blinking lights on your electronics. The human brain was never wired for this kind of nighttime brightness. And as we age, our eyes and brain become even more sensitive to it. The part of your brain that controls your sleep-wake cycle, your circadian rhythm, responds directly to light. When it detects darkness, it signals the body to produce melatonin, the hormone that helps you feel sleepy. But if there's light in the room, even a little, your brain can misinterpret it as daytime, delaying or interrupting that process. And here's where things get more complicated. Older adults often wake more during the night, whether it's to use the bathroom, check a sound, or simply because sleep becomes lighter. So the light that didn't seem like a problem before, a hallway bulb, a porch light shining through the curtains, now becomes a cue that it's time to wake up, not settle down. This doesn't mean you have to turn your bedroom into a cave. In fact, going too far, like installing blackout curtains that make your room pitch dark, can actually create other issues. If you wake up in the middle of the night, a completely dark room can make it harder and less safe to navigate. The last thing anyone needs is to trip over furniture or bump into a doorway just trying to get back to bed. That's why the goal here isn't total darkness, it's managed light. Light that works with your body, not against it. One of the most effective, low-cost tools for this is a soft, comfortable sleep mask. It gives you full darkness when you need it, while still allowing your room to have just enough light for safety if you get up. And unlike blackout blinds, it's flexible. You control when you wear it. If you don't like things on your face, consider soft, adjustable night lights placed low to the ground, enough to guide you, but warm in tone and dim enough not to interfere with melatonin. Avoid blue-toned LEDs or overhead lights during the night. Blue light, which is common in modern bulbs and screens, sends the strongest wake-up signal to your brain. Swap to warmer, amber-toned bulbs instead. Keep your digital alarm clock turned away from your face or covered with a cloth, just enough to block the glow without silencing your alarm. It might sound like a small detail, but light is often the silent disruptor of sleep, especially for older adults whose rhythms are more fragile and whose nights are often spent more alert than they used to be. Many people try supplements, medications, or expensive devices to sleep better but overlook the light in their bedroom. In truth, addressing light can sometimes have a bigger impact than any pill, because what light tells your brain again and again is whether it's safe to rest or whether it's time to wake up. And your brain, even in its wisdom, can get confused if the message is unclear. So simplify the message. Dim the distractions. Protect your nights with gentler, warmer light. Let your bedroom become not just a place to sleep, but a place where your mind understands. It's okay to let go now. You're safe, you're home, you can rest. That quiet sense of safety might just begin with something as small and as powerful as softening the light. Part 2. Old shows can bring new peace. There's a quiet kind of comfort that comes from hearing the familiar opening notes of a show you grew up with. Maybe it's the rhythm of the dialogue, the laughter of a studio audience, or the warm, steady voices of characters you've known for decades. For many older adults, these sounds don't just entertain, they soothe. And when sleep becomes harder to come by, that kind of peace matters. There's a common belief that all screens are bad before bed, and for the most part, that's true. Phones, tablets, and computers are designed to engage. They require tapping, swiping, reading, reacting, and all that interaction keeps your brain in alert mode. The blue light from these devices also mimics daylight, which can confuse your body's internal clock and suppress the melatonin you need to feel sleepy. But television, especially when watched from a distance, passively, and without scrolling or stimulation, is different. It doesn't demand anything from you. You're not expected to click, type, or respond. You can just let it play in the background as your body winds down. And more importantly, when it's something you already know, an old favorite like the Andy Griffith show Murder, She Wrote, or The Golden Girls, it creates a sense of emotional safety. You know how the episode ends. You know the characters will be okay. That predictability, especially in a world that often feels unpredictable, gives your nervous system permission to relax. Watching old shows can act like a soft mental blanket, something familiar that tells your brain everything's all right, you can rest now. For those living alone or adjusting to new life chapters, retirement, widowhood, a quieter house, these shows can also help fill the emotional silence that nighttime often brings. Of course, there are limits. Falling asleep to loud news channels or fast-paced crime dramas can have the opposite effect. The goal isn't distraction, it's gentle companionship. If you choose to watch TV before bed, keep it low in volume, warm in tone, and ideally, something you've already seen. Avoid channel surfing or binge watching. Let it be background, not the main event. Some people also set a timer on the TV, so it turns off after an hour, reducing the risk of light and sound, disturbing your sleep later in the night. And if you notice that TV becomes a crutch, where you can't sleep at all without it, it might be worth exploring other bedtime rituals alongside it, like reading a few pages from a calming book or listening to quiet music. But the truth is, if watching an old episode helps you feel less alone, less restless, and more at ease, then it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Sleep isn't just a physical state, it's an emotional one too. We fall asleep best when we feel safe, settled, and soothed. And sometimes that comes not from silence, but from the gentle hum of voices we trust. Don't let the rules about no screens before bed scare you into cutting out something that genuinely calms you. This is about balance, not perfection. And when used mindfully, those old shows, the ones you've seen 100 times, can help carry you from a noisy day into a quieter night. It's not nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It's about giving your nervous system a rhythm it recognizes, a pace it can follow, and a tone it finds familiar enough to let go. In the end, if something helps you sleep, not by numbing you, but by grounding you, then it's worth keeping close, even if it comes in the form of a TV show you know by heart. Part 3. Clear the noise, make space for dreams. There's something most people forget when they're trying to sleep better. Silence isn't always the default. In many homes, especially in cities or neighborhoods with close proximity, noise at night is just a part of life. Whether it's a barking dog down the street, a neighbor's television bleeding through the wall, or the sound of traffic outside your window, these disruptions, even when they seem small, can deeply interfere with the kind of rest your body is trying to find. And the truth is, as we get older, sleep gets lighter. The deep, uninterrupted rest we once took for granted becomes harder to hold onto. Our brains become more responsive to changes in the environment, and that means sounds, even subtle ones, can startle us awake or keep us hovering just beneath the surface of real sleep. What used to be background noise now feels like a full-on interruption. That's not a flaw, it's how the aging brain protects itself. But you can protect it too by shaping the sound environment of your bedroom with more intention. The first and simplest way to do this is by using white noise, a consistent, soothing sound that helps mask other, more jarring noises. Think of it like sound camouflage. Instead of your brain being startled by every creak, cough, or passing car, it rests inside a steady stream of calming sound, like static on an old TV or the hum of a gentle fan. There are dedicated white noise machines you can buy, many under $30, or free apps that offer a range of options: ocean waves, soft rain, even distant thunder. The key is consistency. Once your brain gets used to a steady sound, it learns to ignore the rest. Another option is earplugs, especially if your sleep partner snores or if your home is simply noisy at night. But here's something to remember: Not all earplugs are created equal. Choose a pair with a noise reduction rating under 32 decibels. That way you'll still be able to hear critical sounds like a smoke alarm or someone calling your name. Foam earplugs are soft and affordable, while silicone models can mold to your ear for a snug, more customized fit. If earplugs make you feel isolated or uncomfortable, try a soft headband with built-in sleep headphones. It's a popular solution for seniors who find earbuds or noise-canceling headphones too bulky in bed. But more than the tools themselves, what matters is this: your bedroom should be a refuge from the outside world, not just physically, but acoustically. So many of us try to fall asleep in rooms filled with quiet disruptions. A ticking clock, a humming fridge, a streetlight buzzing. It might seem like nothing, but your nervous system hears it all. And when your brain is listening, it's not fully resting. That's why managing noise isn't just about avoiding loud disruptions. It's about building a stable sound landscape that your body can settle into. And it's okay to be intentional about that. We take the time to pick the right mattress or the right temperature, but often ignore sound. Yet it's the backdrop to every minute of your sleep. If you've been struggling to stay asleep, or you find yourself waking up for no clear reason, noise might be playing a bigger role than you think. Creating a quieter sleep space doesn't mean achieving perfect silence. It means curating what your brain hears while you sleep, so it feels safe enough to stop listening, safe enough to let go. When the background settles, the mind does too. And in that stillness, whether it's filled with the sound of gentle rain, soft fan noise, or just the absence of interruption, there's finally space for your body to rest and your dreams to unfold. Part 4. If your body has changed, your bed should too. Your body isn't the same as it was 20 years ago, and that's okay. But if your bed hasn't changed either, there's a good chance it's no longer giving you what you need. Most people keep their mattress far longer than they should. 10, 15, even 20 years isn't uncommon. It still looks fine, it still feels okay, and replacing it can feel like a hassle or an unnecessary expense. But as we age, our sleep needs change. Joints grow stiffer, muscles lose some of their natural cushioning, and pressure points in the hips, shoulders, lower back become more sensitive. A mattress that once felt perfect can slowly become a source of discomfort, even pain. And here's the tricky part: it often happens so gradually you don't even realize the bed is the problem. You just wake up feeling achy, toss and turn more often, and chalk it up to aging. But the truth is, a well-chosen mattress can be one of the most powerful tools you have for better sleep. For older adults, a hybrid mattress, one that combines supportive coils with soft foam, usually offers the best balance. It's firm enough to keep your spine aligned, but forgiving enough to cushion your joints. Unlike full-memory foam beds, which can sometimes make you feel stuck, a hybrid gives you just enough give without sacrificing ease of movement, an important factor if you need to change positions or get out of bed during the night. But the mattress is only part of the story. Think about your pillows. If you're a side sleeper, you need enough height to keep your head from sinking down toward your shoulder. Back sleepers need a lower, more balanced pillow to keep the neck in line. And stomach sleepers, they do best with a very flat pillow or none at all to prevent unnatural bending of the neck. Choosing the right pillow isn't about luxury. It's about keeping your spine in a neutral position so your body isn't working against itself all night. Then there's your sheets. It might seem like a small detail, but you spend 8 hours a night wrapped in them, and they can either soothe you or irritate you. Look for natural fibers like cotton or bamboo, which breathe better and feel gentler against aging skin. Stay away from synthetic blends that trap heat or feel scratchy. And when it comes to thread count, more isn't always better. 200 to 400 is usually ideal for softness and airflow. Your bed should invite you. It should be a place your body looks forward to returning to each night. If your mattress sags, your pillow flattens, or your sheets feel stiff and hot, it's no wonder your sleep feels disrupted. Many people spend thousands on treatments, supplements, or sleep gadgets without realizing that their own bed is working against them. But when your body changes, and it will, your sleep surface needs to change too. Not for the sake of comfort alone, but because the right support can mean fewer wake-ups, less pain, and a deeper kind of rest. So take a moment to notice how you feel when you wake up. Do you feel restored or do you feel sore? Does your bed cradle your body or fight against it? Is it helping you rest or is it making you restless? You don't have to replace everything at once. Start with the one thing that's bothering you most: the pillow, the sheets, or maybe the mattress itself. Small upgrades, made with intention, can lead to major changes in how you sleep and how you feel the next day. Because rest isn't just about closing your eyes, it's about giving your body the support it needs to truly let go. And sometimes that support starts with something as simple and as life-changing as a better bed. Part 5. The right room temperature can work wonders. It's easy to overlook temperature until it's the reason you can't sleep. Maybe you've woken up drenched in sweat or with cold feet that just won't warm up. Maybe you've thrown off the covers only to pull them back 5 minutes later. That constant cycle, too hot, too cold, never quite right, isn't just uncomfortable. It's disruptive to the natural rhythm your body needs to fall and stay asleep. As we age, our ability to regulate body temperature becomes less efficient. We often have less subcutaneous fat, which means we cool down faster and heat up more slowly. At the same time, hormonal shifts can make temperature swings feel more extreme, especially during the night when your core temperature is supposed to drop in preparation for sleep. But when your bedroom is working against that process, your body stays too alert. And when your body is alert, your mind doesn't rest either. That's why the temperature of your room matters more than most people think. For older adults, the sweet spot is usually somewhere between 70 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little warmer than the standard 68 degrees often recommended for younger people. And it makes sense, because an older body needs just a little more warmth to feel safe enough to relax. But the key here isn't just the number, it's the consistency. A room that's too hot at the start of the night and too cold by morning forces your body to keep adjusting, and that can lead to tossing, turning, and early waking. So what can you do? First, invest in a small thermostat or room thermometer to track how your room behaves overnight. Some homes cool down more than you think. Then consider layering your bedding instead of relying on one thick comforter. Lightweight blankets give you flexibility to adjust without fully waking up. If you sleep with a partner who runs harder or colder than you, try using separate bedding. It sounds unromantic, but it often leads to better sleep for both people. You can also look into cooling sheets or flannel sets depending on your sleep pattern. Hot sleepers need breathable, moisture-wicking materials like percale cotton, while colder sleepers might want brushed cotton or flannel that feels cozy but doesn't trap sweat. And let's not forget about airflow. A quiet fan, even on a low setting, can keep the air from feeling stuffy and help regulate temperature without creating a chill. On cold nights, a small space heater placed at a safe distance from the bed can take the edge off. Just make sure it has a timer or automatic shut-off feature. If you've ever noticed you sleep better at someone else's house, in a hotel, or during certain seasons, it might not be the bed that's different, it could simply be the temperature. Our bodies respond deeply to the environment they are in, and warmth, not heat, not cold. But warmth tells the nervous system, you're safe now, you can rest. That message, repeated night after night, is what builds true sleep, so don't ignore it. Don't dismiss your discomfort as just a part of aging. Sleep is repair, sleep is renewal, and something as simple as a steady, comfortable temperature could be the missing piece between the night you have and the rest you deserve. Part 6. A gentle scent, a warm sip that's enough. Sometimes the smallest things speak the loudest. A soft scent in the air, a warm drink in your hands, a signal to your brain that the day is ending and it's safe to slow down. For many older adults, falling asleep isn't just a physical process, it's emotional. You can do everything right with your lights, your sounds, your bed, and still find yourself lying there wide awake, waiting for your mind to catch up. That's where simple rituals come in. Not to fix you, not to force sleep, but to gently ease the transition from the busyness of the day to the stillness of night. Let's start with scent. Smell is directly wired to memory and emotion, and it plays a quiet but powerful role in how safe and calm we feel. One of the most studied scents for sleep is lavender, not the strong artificial kind, but a subtle, natural aroma that promotes relaxation without being overpowering. You don't need to mist your whole room or spray your pillow until it's soaked. In fact, many people find that too much scent can be distracting. Instead, try something gentler, a small lavender sachet tucked inside your pillowcase or placed near your headboard. Over time, your brain begins to associate that scent with rest, and the mere whiff of it becomes a cue to unwind. And if lavender doesn't appeal to you, there's no rule saying it has to be. Some people respond better to chamomile, sandalwood, or even the clean scent of freshly washed sheets. The goal isn't fragrance, it's familiarity. Choose a scent that feels calming, comforting, and consistent. Now let's talk about the ritual of a warm drink before bed. There's something grounding about wrapping your hands around a mug at the end of the day. It's not about what's inside as much as what the act represents: a quiet moment, a slowing down, a physical reminder that you're transitioning into rest. While caffeine is obviously off the table, there are natural drinks that can support sleep gently and safely. One of the most overlooked and surprisingly effective is banana tea. It might sound strange at first, but here's how it works. Take one ripe banana, rinse it well, leave the peel on and cut off the tips. Place it in a small pot of water, bring it to a boil, then simmer for 4 or 5 minutes. Pour the liquid into a cup, add a touch of honey or cinnamon if you like, and sip it slowly about 30 minutes before bed. The peel of the banana contains high levels of magnesium and potassium, minerals that help relax muscles, regulate the nervous system, and prepare the body for sleep. It's safe, natural, inexpensive, and surprisingly comforting. Even the smell of it simmering on the stove becomes part of the wind down. If banana tea isn't your thing, other herbal teas like chamomile, lemon balm, or rooibos can be great alternatives. Just be sure they are caffeine-free and not too acidic, especially if you deal with reflux or nighttime discomfort. The real takeaway is this: you don't need fancy gadgets, expensive supplements, or rigid routines. Sometimes it's a soft scent and a warm sip that send the clearest message to your body: it's time to rest. These aren't tricks, they are tools, gentle ones that don't push or pressure, but instead invite you into a different pace. Because sleep isn't something we force, it's something we allow. And the more we create an environment and a routine that signals safety, comfort, and calm, the more likely our minds and bodies are to follow. So tonight, instead of chasing sleep, try welcoming it. Let scent and taste do what they do best: quiet the senses, warm the heart, and remind you, in the simplest of ways, that rest is not only possible, but already on its way. Part 7. Good sleep starts in the morning. It might sound counterintuitive, but one of the most effective ways to sleep better at night is to start paying attention to what happens in the morning. Many people think sleep is just about what happens once you crawl into bed, but in reality, your body starts preparing for rest the moment you wake up. That preparation begins with light exposure. As soon as you get natural sunlight, even just 10 to 15 minutes, your brain starts resetting your internal clock, also known as your circadian rhythm. This rhythm is responsible for releasing hormones like cortisol to help you feel alert in the morning, and melatonin later in the day to help you feel sleepy. For older adults, this rhythm can become irregular or weakened, especially if most time is spent indoors. So the simple act of stepping outside in the morning, even onto a porch or by a window with full daylight, helps anchor your sleep cycle. That small dose of natural light tells your brain it's daytime now, which helps it know when to release the right sleep hormones later. Just as important as morning light is movement. You don't need to do a workout or head to the gym. A short walk, some gentle stretches, or simply standing and tidying up the kitchen helps signal to your body that the day is underway. This movement doesn't just boost your energy, it also helps regulate your body temperature and metabolism, both of which influence sleep quality at night. Another habit that often slips with age and disrupts sleep is napping too much during the day. A short nap can be helpful, especially if you didn't sleep well the night before. But long, late-day naps confuse your internal clock and make it harder to feel sleepy at night. The key is to keep naps under 30 minutes and avoid them after 2 p.m. Think of a nap as a light reset, not a full shutdown. The more consistent your waking and sleeping schedule is, the better your body gets at predicting and supporting healthy rest. One of the most powerful tools you have is routine, not rigid, but regular. Try waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Eat meals around the same time. Begin winding down in the evening with low lights, quiet activities, and screen-free time. These patterns are like signals to your nervous system, reinforcing that you're safe and in rhythm. Over time, these rhythms become internalized. You stop chasing sleep and start meeting it at the right moment. The idea that good sleep starts in the morning isn't just a clever phrase, it's a reminder that your entire day shapes your night. The more intentional you are with light, movement, timing, and rest, the more naturally sleep returns, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe one morning you forget to go outside. Maybe one afternoon you nap longer than planned. That's okay. What matters most is consistency over time. Small efforts repeated daily lead to real change. Sleep, like health, responds to rhythm, and that rhythm starts with how you greet the day. So tomorrow morning, open the blinds, step outside, stretch your arms, breathe. You're not just waking up, you're already laying the foundation for a better night ahead. We often think of sleep as something that just happens. You lie down, close your eyes, and drift off. But the truth is, especially as we age, sleep becomes something we have to care for. It's no longer automatic, and that's not a failure, it's simply part of life's rhythm. The body changes, the mind carries more, and rest becomes more delicate, more precious. What we've explored in this video isn't about perfection. It's not about controlling every detail or following some strict set of rules. It's about supporting yourself gently, intentionally, in ways that meet you where you are now. Whether it's softening the light in your room, finding peace in familiar voices, protecting your nights from noise, giving your body the comfort it truly needs, adjusting the temperature with care, building rituals around scent and warmth, or simply stepping outside each morning, every one of these changes is a small act of respect for the life you've lived and the rest you still deserve. Because good sleep isn't a luxury, it's a foundation. It affects your mood, your memory, your energy, and your sense of balance in every sense of the word. And the more we treat it with thoughtfulness, the more it gives back to us in return. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you feel encouraged, not overwhelmed, and that even just one idea from today becomes a small shift in your own nightly rhythm. Wherever you are in your journey and whatever sleep looks like for you right now, know this: you are not alone and your rest still matters. You still matter. Wishing you a night that feels safe, a body that feels supported, and a heart that feels just a little more at ease. Sweet dreams, and take gentle care.